Still no decision on immigration reform or border security in Congress. And the March 5th deadline on DACA is just 2 weeks away.
Here in Arizona, volunteers who help migrants say they're in a battle of their own with U.S. border authorities. Cronkite News reporter Lillian Donahue has the story.
This hidden camera video allegedly shows Border Patrol agents destroying gallons of water and food left behind by humanitarian aid workers for migrants passing through the southern Arizona desert.
You get a good shot. Picking up this trash somebody left on the trail.
The group No More Deaths released the video in mid-January, and just a few hours later, Border Patrol agents arrested one of their volunteers, Scott Daniel Warren. He's been charged with felony harboring of undocumented immigrants, a move the humanitarian group calls retaliation.
A lot of us have found remains in that area, and so it makes sense that we want to put water and food out there. And so then to be criminalized for that is really upsetting.
Longtime volunteer Paige Korchklein was among many who showed solidarity for Warren at his most recent court hearing in Tucson.
We always want to support our volunteers in whatever way we can, and so showing up to court dates and just making sure that there's humans in the room, just kind of saying like, no, you got this, we're here to support you, we've got your back.
Warren's arrest wasn't the first. In December, 8 others were charged with misdemeanors ranging from driving without permits to leaving personal property behind. The release of the video and the arrests come after years of escalating tensions between No More Deaths and Border Patrol in what is an already deadly and treacherous stretch of land.
This is the type of area where people are crossing. The remains of 3 people were found right in this area.
It's a treacherous voyage, which is why certain groups leave supplies along the route, hoping to make this potentially deadly trip a bit safer for undocumented immigrants trying to cross.
The organization No More Deaths Arizona has put out nearly 32,000 of these water jugs in the past 6 years alone. And 80% of that has been used by migrants on these trails.
We try and leave them in spots that'll be shaded, protected from the sun, visible from the trail, but also not overly visible to protect them from destruction and vandalization.
A recent report by the organization says volunteers in just one desert corridor found more than 3,500 gallons of water destroyed over a 3-year period. Border Patrol spokesperson and agent Christopher Sullivan says they don't tolerate this kind of behavior.
Tucson sector does not condone or encourage the destruction or tampering with any water or food. If it does happen, we want to be made aware of it, so therefore we can take corrective actions against the agents that conduct those activities.
State Highway 86, also known as Ajo Way, spans hundreds of miles into the Ajo region of southwest Arizona, including Cabeza Prieta. Now, it doesn't take long while riding on this road to find out how vast, flat, and desolate this area can be.
It's at the Cabeza Prieta Wildlife Refuge where many of the incidences between No More Deaths and Border Patrol have occurred. Officials there wouldn't comment on the ongoing cases. However, Bill Walker, who's represented many volunteers in the past, says the relationship between humanitarian aid groups and government officials has dramatically changed in the desert.
Now what's happened is, although we've always had some strife with law enforcement, we've always gotten along more than we've fought them. Now, there's no way to reason with them.
Christopher Sullivan with Border Patrol says they have a job to do.
Because the Border Patrol shares a common goal to preserve human life, we have a duty to secure the nation's borders, but ultimately we have a duty to preserve human life. We don't want anyone to die coming across the border.
The destruction of aid supplies is a deadly act.
But No More Deaths says they're not satisfied and will continue to watch Border Patrol practices. In the meantime, volunteers continue setting out for more water drops.
Being able to walk into the desert and put water and beans out feels like a small act, but it actually is really important.
Reporting near the Arizona-Mexico border, Lillian Donahue, Cronkite News.